What is a directive in Angular? And how to create custom directive in Angular? In Angular, a directive is a marker on a DOM element that tells Angular to attach a specific behavior to that element or to modify its behavior. Directives are a way to extend the HTML vocabulary, and they can be used to manipulate the DOM, handle user events, and more. There are three types of directives in Angular. First, component directive. This creates a new component that can be used as a custom HTML element in your application. Second, structural directive. This alters the DOM layout by adding or removing elements based on a condition. Most commonly used structural directives in Angular are ngIf and ngFor. Third, attribute directive. This changes the behavior or appearance of an existing DOM element. Most commonly used attribute directives in Angular are ngClass and ngStyle. Let's see the example of structural directive. *ngIf, which conditionally adds or removes elements based on a Boolean expression. Here is an example of a structural directive that conditionally displays a message based on whether a user is logged in. *ngFor is a structural directive that iterates over a collection of items and creates a template instance for each item. It allows you to render a dynamic list of elements based on an array of data. Here is an example of how to use ngFor to display a list of items. Let's see the example of attribute directive in Angular. One of the most commonly used attribute directives in Angular is ngClass, which dynamically adds or removes CSS classes based on a Boolean expression. ngStyle is an attribute directive that allows you to dynamically set CSS styles on an element based on a condition. It takes an object that maps CSS property names to their values and applies them to the element. Here is an example of how to use ngStyle to set the background color of an element based on a Boolean condition. To create a custom directive in Angular, you can follow these steps. Create a new file for your directive, e.g. custom.directive.ts. Import the directive decorator from the @Angular core package. Use the @directive decorator to create your custom directive. The decorator takes a configuration object with the following properties. Selector, the CSS selector that matches the element you want to apply the directive to. Inputs, an array of input properties that the directive expects. Outputs, an array of output properties that the directive emits. Host, an object that maps DOM events to methods on the directive. Here is an example of a custom directive that sets the background color of an element to red. In this example, we use the @directive decorator to create a new directive with the selector @red background. The constructor of the directive injects an element ref and a renderer to instance, which we use to set the background color of the element to red using the setStyle method. To use this directive in your template, simply add the square bracket @red background attribute to any element like this. When the directive is applied to this element, it will set its background color to red. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe.